Title: The Shadow of the Forgotten Treasure. Introduction. The rain lashed against the windows of the ancient Manor Hill Library, each droplet casting fleeting shadows that danced across the worn wooden floor. Outside, the sleepy village of Greenwood appeared even more secluded than usual, cloaked in mist and the eerie glow of flickering lanterns. Despite the storm, the dimly lit reading room of the library was alive with hushed whispers and the rustling of old newspapers. For most, it was just another stormy evening. But for Detective Henry Lambert and his partner, journalist Claire Matthews, it was the beginning of a mystery that would unravel secrets buried for decades. Henry, a man in his early 40s with a robust frame and a mustache that seemed to have a personality of its own, stood near the fireplace holding a vintage oil lamp. He examined it closely, his keen eyes glinting with curiosity. Claire, younger by a decade, sat cross-legged on a faded armchair, scrolling through pages of local folklore on her tablet. She brushed her auburn hair away from her face, her sharp features illuminated by the screen's soft glow. "Greenwood," Claire began, her voice thoughtful. "A village of 100 tales and even more secrets. Did you know, Henry, that this place has been called the Village of Whispers?" Henry glanced up, his mustache twitching slightly, a sign he was intrigued. "Whispers often have roots in truth, Claire. What exactly are they whispering about?" Claire set her tablet down and leaned forward. "The Manor Hill treasure," she said in a low voice, as though the walls had ears. "A fortune said to be hidden somewhere within the old Rutherstone estate, but they say it's cursed." Henry let out a soft chuckle, adjusting his lamp. "Curses are usually a convenient way to scare people off, but I'm guessing there's more to the story." "There always is," Claire replied. "Apparently, the treasure dates back to the 18th century, when the Rutherstone family was one of the wealthiest in the region. Lord Jonathan Rutherstone was an eccentric man who amassed a fortune: gold coins, rare artifacts, and even an ancient sapphire said to hold mystical powers. But then he vanished without a trace, and the estate fell into ruin. No one's ever found the treasure, though many have tried." Henry's eyes narrowed. "And how does a centuries-old story connect to us?" Claire handed him a crumpled newspaper. The headline read, "Mysterious Death at the Rutherstone Estate." Beneath it was a black-and-white photo of the sprawling mansion, its Gothic spires piercing through the dense fog. "A local historian, Elizabeth Carter, was found dead there last week," Claire explained. "The authorities ruled it an accident, but—" Henry's gaze lingered on the photograph. "But something doesn't add up." "Exactly," Claire said, her voice gaining urgency. "Elizabeth was researching the Rutherstone lineage and had recently claimed to have discovered a crucial clue about the treasure's location. She even hinted at a connection between the treasure and some unsettling events in the village. Disappearances, strange symbols, that sort of thing." Henry set the lamp down and crossed the room to retrieve his trench coat. "If Elizabeth's death wasn't an accident, someone wanted her silenced, and if she was onto something, we might be next in line for some unwanted attention." Before Claire could respond, the library door creaked open, and a gust of cold wind swept through the room. A tall, imposing figure stepped inside, his face obscured by the brim of a wide hat. As he moved closer, the firelight revealed his weathered features and piercing blue eyes. "Detective Lambert, Miss Matthews," the man said in a gravelly voice. "I believe we have a mutual interest in the Rutherstone estate." Henry exchanged a wary glance with Claire. "And you are?" "Arthur Blackwood," the man replied, removing his hat. His graying hair and rugged demeanor spoke of a life lived on the edge. "Former curator of the Greenwood Museum. Elizabeth Carter was a colleague of mine." Claire's eyes widened. You're the one who wrote that piece on Greenwood's hidden histories. I've read your work." Arthur nodded, though his expression remained somber. "Elizabeth reached out to me a few weeks before her death. She believed someone was following her. She feared for her life." Henry's mustache twitched again. "And you didn't think to inform the authorities?" "She insisted I keep it quiet," Arthur said, his voice heavy with regret. "She thought she could handle it. I've come to you because I believe she was right. She did find something. And now, whatever she uncovered is putting others in danger." The room fell silent, the storm outside intensifying as if echoing the gravity of the situation. Henry finally broke the tension. "All right, Blackwood, tell us everything you know." Arthur reached into his coat pocket and produced a weathered journal. This belonged to Elizabeth. It's full of notes, sketches, and theories about the treasure. But there's one entry that stands out. He flipped to a page marked with a red ribbon and handed it to Claire. The handwriting was hurried, almost frantic. The key lies within the sapphire's gaze. Beware the shadow that guards it. Beneath the cryptic message was a rough sketch of a pendant bearing an intricate design, a single eye surrounded by rays of light. Claire frowned. The sapphire's gaze? What does that even mean? Henry examined the drawing. It means we've got our work cut out for us. If this pendant exists, it might be the key to the treasure. And the shadow, well, let's just hope that's metaphorical. Arthur's expression darkened. "I wouldn't be so sure. There's a reason why this treasure has remained hidden for so long, and it's not just the curse." The three of them stood in tense silence, the weight of the mystery settling over them like the storm clouds outside. Somewhere in the distance, a clock struck midnight, its chimes echoing through the village. Henry picked up the lamp, his grip firm. "Then we'd better get started. The Rutherstone estate won't wait for daylight." As they stepped into the stormy night, a figure watched them from the shadows, unseen and silent, their intentions as dark as the clouds above. The hunt for the forgotten treasure had begun, and so had the danger. Chapter 2. Echoes of the Past. Twist beneath the surface. As the trio ventured deeper into the Rutherstone estate, the air grew heavier with a sense of foreboding. The house was a labyrinth of creaking floorboards and dimly lit corridors, the very walls whispering of secrets long buried. In the grand hall, they found an ornate mirror, its surface cracked and tarnished. Arthur froze. "That wasn't here before," he whispered, pointing to a faint inscription on the mirror's frame. It read, "Seek not the treasure, for it watches you." A sudden chill swept through the room. Claire shivered. "Henry, do you think—" But Henry was already examining the mirror, his lamp casting unsettling shadows. Behind him, Arthur muttered. Elizabeth mentioned a mirror in her notes. She called it the Watcher. Before they could discuss further, a hollow sound echoed from above. Heavy footsteps. "We're not alone," Henry said, his voice low. He motioned for silence as they ascended the staircase. On the landing, they found a small room. Inside, a chest sat in the center. Its lock was old, yet strangely polished. Arthur hesitated. The pendant. Elizabeth believed it might not be the key to the treasure, but a key to something worse. Henry opened the chest. Inside was the pendant, but not as they imagined. The sapphire was dull, its eye design now a gaping void. Claire gasped as shadows began to ripple across the walls, the pendant's gaze pulling at their very souls. From the doorway, a voice hissed, "You should not have come." Turning, they saw the figure from the shadows, a face twisted with hatred and familiarity. "Lambert," the figure sneered, "we meet again. Ye twist zabardast hai." ट्रेजर बॉक्स असली है या नहीं? इस सवाल का जवाब एंडिंग में रिवील करना एक दम सस्पेंसफुल और धमाकेदार हो सकता है। मैं एक एंगेजिंग सीन लिखता हूं जिसमें ट्रेजर बॉक्स का राज खुलता है और कहानी एक अनएक्सपेक्टेड डायरेक्शन में चलती है। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। The final reveal, the truth of the treasure. Darkness had settled over the ancient crypt, the flickering lamplight casting eerie shadows on the moss-covered walls. Ethan's hands trembled as he held the ornate box, its golden carving shimmering faintly under the dim glow. Lily, with her sharp eyes, stood beside him, clutching a worn parchment they had unearthed moments ago. "This is it," Ethan whispered, his voice a mix of excitement and dread. "The treasure of Captain Armand. Centuries of mystery, right here in my hands." The group, Lily, Ethan, Marcus, the mustachioed scholar, and Emily, the intuitive historian, gathered closer. But something about the box felt off. "Open it," Marcus urged, his deep voice echoing in the chamber. He adjusted his grip on the antique lamp, his mustache twitching slightly. Emily hesitated, her intuition tingling. "Wait, something's wrong. Remember the inscription on the crypt's entrance? Not all that glitters is gold. What if—" "Enough talk," Ethan snapped, surprising everyone with his sudden aggression. "We've come too far for second thoughts." His tone carried an edge of desperation. He unlatched the box. A treasure or a curse? The lid creaked open, revealing nothing but dust and a folded piece of parchment. Lily gasped. "It's empty? No, there's something here," Ethan muttered, pulling out the paper. As he unfolded it, his face turned pale. The parchment bore a single line. "The true treasure lies within the seeker's heart. Greed blinds the worthy." Marcus laughed bitterly. All this for a riddle? But Emily wasn't convinced. "There's more to this." She snatched the parchment, holding it up to the lamplight. Faint writing appeared. A hidden map leading to a different location. Before anyone could react, Ethan spoke again, his voice trembling. "It's a lie. The treasure was never real." His eyes gleamed with an unsettling intensity. The hidden agenda. Lily froze. "Ethan, what are you saying?" Ethan dropped the box and stepped back, his hand slipping into his jacket. "I knew the treasure wasn't real. It never was. But you all wouldn't have joined me if I told you that." Marcus's mustache twitched in outrage. "What are you playing at?" Ethan smirked. "The treasure was a lure, to bring you all here. This crypt holds something far more valuable. A secret weapon buried by Captain Armand. A weapon that could change everything." Emily's eyes widened. "You used us." "Call it what you want," Ethan said, pulling out a small detonator. "But I can't let anyone else have it." The chamber shook as the ground beneath them began to crumble. A desperate escape. Chaos erupted. Marcus swung the lamp, knocking the detonator from Ethan's hand. Lily grabbed the map and ran, while Emily struggled to decipher its next clue. Ethan, desperate to salvage his plan, lunged for the detonator. "Stop!" Marcus roared, pinning Ethan to the ground. But it was too late. The detonator clicked. The final twist. As the crypt began to collapse, the group barely escaped with their lives. Outside, under the cold starlight, Lily unfolded the map once more. Emily looked at her, breathless. "Is it worth it? After everything we've lost?" Lily's lips curved into a faint smile. "The real treasure might not be gold, but we're not done yet." The camera pans to the map, revealing a single word glowing faintly. Truth. Cliffhanger effect. This ending leaves the audience questioning. Was Ethan right about the weapon? What does truth mean? Is the treasure real after all, or is it a metaphor for something greater? A perfect blend of suspense, drama, and intrigue to make viewers eager for the next chapter. And of course, hit that like and subscribe button, hehe.